My friends, I like Naruto. No, friends, I love Naruto. You get extra points if you can figure out what other anime I love. Naruto is a series that has plenty of emotional charge. This series is a classic, and it has been one that any weeb, regardless of what they're into, know well. I mean, it's so well known that even the U.S. government needed to watch it to prepare to defend Area 51. Well, to honor such a show that has spawned such a following, I believe I will recap the series, starting with the first season of the first part. Don't you love that? I sure do. And so, let us begin. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. The Amagi's reach stretches beyond just this channel, so if you're a fan of us, please consider subscribing to our other channels and following us on all of our social media. Help us reach our goal of passing 100,000 followers on all of our accounts by the end of the year. Enter Uzumaki Naruto. Our story starts with a quick scene summarizing Naruto's past. We're shown the Nine Tails, and then shown that it was sealed into a little baby child that just so happens to be Naruto. Naruto's a bit of a rambunctious child though, as he tends to cause more trouble. Defacing the Hokage rock with graffiti, he's reprimanded by his teacher Irika Umino. The day after, he doesn't graduate from the academy due to his inability to use the Shadow Clone Jutsu. This causes a shifty shinobi named Mizuki to pounce on Naruto while he's emotionally weak. Knowing Naruto is both the hated Nine-Tails Jinchuriki as well as a troublemaker, he knows he can easily get the child to steal the scroll from the Hokage's residence and then blame its disappearance on Naruto while Mizuki makes off with it. This plan goes about as good as Mizuki plans, and Naruto steals it in hopes of learning how to use the Shadow Clone Jutsu, where he manages to master it straight from its source. This turns out to be a mistake for Mizuki, as when he goes to take it, he and Irika are thrown into a fight, where Mizuki proves superior. However, Irika's heart is far greater than Mizuki's, and his self-sacrificing love for the kid causes Naruto to utilize the new jutsu to absolutely destroy Mizuki. After this, Naruto manages to graduate from the academy due to his usage of the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Later, after getting into an argument about the rather Jiraiya-like way he displayed himself on his ninja registration form photo, he's taken to see the Hokage, who is attacked by a small boy that absolutely fails. This boy's name is Konohamaru, and he is the grandson of the third Hokage, Hiruzen. Konohamaru follows Naruto around like a puppy, hoping to learn some new tricks. Naruto decides to teach him the sexy jutsu, which they learn by sneaking a peek into issues of a Playboy-like magazine. Ebisu would find them later and begins to believe that Naruto is a bad influence on the young master. I wonder why. However, Naruto responds with his harem jutsu, which gives Ebisu a nosebleed even Master Roshi would be proud of. In the end, Naruto decides that they're better off being rivals as opposed to master and student, and Konohamaru comes to terms with his need to prove himself via action as opposed to his name only. Naruto is then introduced to his teammates Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno. Naruto loves Sakura and hates Sasuke. Sakura loves Sasuke and hates Naruto. And Sasuke hates everyone. This love triangle, more like an L. This love L is the basis of Naruto's scheme to dispose of Sasuke in order to grow closer to Sakura. For the most part, he's somehow successful, but before he can sneak a kiss, he is hit by stomach pains due to drinking expired milk. For real, who has time to read the labels anyway? And ends up in the bathroom. Sasuke, meanwhile, breaks free and meets up with Sakura. There, she blames the loss of parents as the reason why Naruto is the way he is, but also seemingly believes Naruto is lucky, of which Sasuke believes she's pathetic. Sasuke manages to catch up with Naruto though, who ends up in the bathroom again. We're introduced to a strange shinobi in Naruto's apartment who's entertaining the Hokage. This shinobi definitely isn't one of the coolest characters in the series. Later on, Team 7 is waiting for their fashionably late Jonin when Naruto sets an obvious eraser trap which Sasuke says will never work. Boy, did Naruto prove him wrong. Kakashi already states that he hates them from the start. They're then asked to tell more about themselves to Kakashi. Naruto, full of energy, states that he will become Hokage so everyone will respect him. Sakura states she will find true love, hint hint, and Sasuke states that he is someone he wants to kill and then plans to reform his clan. They ask Kakashi to talk about himself, but he says he doesn't need to say anything to them and instead sets up a test. It's revealed that Kakashi attempted in the past to be a Jonin for a Genin team, but always sent them back to the academy after they failed his test. Kakashi then gives them the same test, which is ridiculous to them. He tells them that he has 2 bells, and that means only 2 Genin will get to be on his team, while the 3rd is sent back to the academy. He further states if they don't get the bells before noon, everyone goes back to the academy. Through the entire thing, Kakashi is basically just playing with them, psyching them out, and using my personal favorite jutsu, 1000 Years of Death. He also buries Sasuke up to the neck in earth, which causes Sakura to shout that he's decapitated and pass out. Out of all of them, Sasuke impresses Kakashi the most with his chakra reserves and raw prowess, but even this doesn't get them anywhere. Naruto, believing this is a lost cause, decides to eat all the lunch on his own. Kakashi, though, would stop him and tie him to a post. Kakashi says he'll give everyone another chance to get the bells by the end of the day, but Naruto, due to having tried to take all the lunch for himself, will get no lunch and has to do this all on an empty stomach. Kakashi further threatens the team that if they feed Naruto, Kakashi will know and he'll fail them all. However, knowing that they can't do it without him, both Sakura and Sasuke feed him anyway. Kakashi appears, but tells them that they pass. He informs them that those who break the rules are trash, but those who would abandon even one of their friends is worse than trash. After doing some small D-rank missions, Naruto hounds Hiruzen for something better, and eventually they're given the mission to escort Tazuna back to the Land of Waves. Naruto is ecstatic. However, before they get too far, they're attacked by the Demon Brothers, of which Naruto freezes in terror. Sasuke deals with them and then asks Naruto if he's okay before insulting him as a baby. Naruto then stabs his hand to bleed out all the poison, all while vowing on the pain to never freeze again. And while Kakashi loves the sentiment, he decides it's best to deal with the wound because Naruto could die. However, the healing of the Nine Tails causes the wound to heal faster than normal. Kakashi demands an answer as to why Tazuna lied to them. This is obviously not a C-rank mission. This mission possesses high-level combat against skilled shinobi. This is a much higher of a ranked mission than Kakashi should be bringing Genin to, but after hearing Tazuna's explanation, Kakashi decides to finish the mission anyways. But that is when they're confronted by Zabuza, who Kakashi attempts to handle on his own. During this battle, Kakashi reveals his Sharingan, which both Zabuza and Sasuke seem to know about. It turns out that the reason why Kakashi wears his headband at the jaunty angle was to cover this Sharingan. Because it's not originally his, he can't shut it off and thus needs to cover it, or its strain will cause his chakra to drain too fast. With this, Kakashi startles Zabuza because he manages to weave the exact hand signs that Zabuza is weaving at speeds that almost make it look like he's doing it at the exact same time, and due to Kakashi's ability to guess what the next sign will be, allows him to give the illusion that he can see the future. This allows Kakashi to exhibit the same jutsu through mimicry. This is where the title Kakashi Copy Ninja originates from. Kakashi has learned multiple jutsu through this method. However, as Kakashi continues to fight against Zabuza, he's caught off guard and trapped in a water prison. Zabuza then creates a water clone with which to attack the rest of Team 7. Kakashi tells his students to flee, but Naruto, remembering his oath he made on his wound, decides to continue fighting against Zabuza. Together with Sasuke, Naruto transforms himself into a Demon Windblade Fuma Shuriken. Sasuke doubles up on this feint by adding a second Fuma Shuriken to the mix, which causes Zabuza to drop his guard after he dodges the two. He didn't realize Naruto would transform behind him and throw a kunai. This causes Zabuza to release Kakashi from his water prison. Zabuza is then attacked by a Hunter Nin of the Mist, who Kakashi recognizes as someone who is designed to make shinobi disappear. It's here that Kakashi tells them that not even the bodies of shinobi are allowed to exist after their death, to keep them from revealing secrets about their village. However, Kakashi notices something strange about this. The Hunter Nin took the body away. Normal procedure indicates that they must break down the body on the spot without moving it. Kakashi would then collapse due to chakra drain. They're taken back to the home of Tazuna, where Kakashi would rest. But if you think that it ends here for Team 7, you are sorely mistaken. Kakashi decides it's best to teach his students about chakra control and how to use it on the soles of their feet to allow them to scale trees and stand upside down. Since Sakura is the local egghead, he uses her to explain it to them. Sakura also nearly perfects it on her first try, though Naruto and Sasuke have issues out of this more. Sasuke adds too much chakra and Naruto doesn't have enough. However, they turn this into a rivalry, in which, of course, Sasuke surpasses Naruto. They work themselves so hard that they eat too much and puke on the floor. Bet Tazuna wishes he had sprung for the Chunin for a little extra. I bet you Tsunami cleaned it up though. She is the mother of the house. Speaking of mother, we're also introduced to Inari, who's an adorable kid in overalls and a fishing cap. But don't let that face fool you, he is a walking traumatic experience. You see, Inari doesn't believe in heroes anymore, which he vehemently shouts at Team 7, angering Naruto, who snaps back and makes the kid cry. Tazuna explains to them that Inari was a coward when he was younger, but he met a man named Kaiza who became a father figure to him. Kaiza was a good man who was always doing things to help other people. He had become well known to the people of the Land of Waves as a heroic being, and so Gato had him crucified. Yep, he cut off the guy's arms and then had him tied to a cross to make an example of what happened to heroes. All of this was done in front of Inari. This completely shattered the kid's worldview and turned him into a pessimist. This causes Naruto to resume training in hopes of changing the world for the better. It's during this time that he wakes up in the forest in front of a boy with finer, effeminate features, which shocks Naruto at first. They have an exchange on morality and goals before parting ways. Naruto, as of yet not knowing that this boy was actually the hunter nin that had supposedly killed Zabuza, though Kakashi has other theories. Sasuke and Naruto resume their training and work all day until they get to the top of the tree. The next day, Naruto is left to sleep in while others escort Tazuna to the bridge. However, Naruto wakes up and recognizes that they left him behind and attempts to catch up with them, stopping two of Gato's men from taking Inari and Tsunami hostage. When he arrives, he finds his team facing Zabuza and Haku. Kakashi is facing Zabuza, Sasuke is facing Haku, and Sakura is serving as bodyguard to Tazuna. Sasuke is trying to deal with Haku's demonic mirroring ice crystals technique with his Sharingan. Naruto jumps into the mirroring ice crystals to Sasuke's surprise to help him, but Sasuke informs him that it's a trap. Together they're attacked by Haku's Senbon until Sasuke seemingly dies. This causes Naruto to basically go Super Saiyan. His emotional state gives Kurama the foothold he needs, and the Demon Fox's energy begins to pour out of every orifice. Naruto breaks through the mirrors and strikes out at Haku, smashing his mask. The revelation of who Haku is causes Naruto to snap out of it. It's then that Haku would reveal his past, and how he grew up in an area where Kekkei Genkai were demonized, and how his father killed his mother. He recounts his story where he was found by Zabuza. He was meant to only be a tool for Zabuza, but it seems all Haku was after was for someone to love him, and so both of them being recognized as demons by the people around them began to take care of each other. This formed an incredible bond of loyalty between Haku and his master, but it seems one-sided. Haku begs Naruto to kill him as he failed Zabuza. However, as Kakashi sees Naruto's outburst, he knows that he needs to get serious and take a few risks to beat Zabuza quickly. When he locates him, he attempts to kill him with the lightning blade, but Haku rushes over and steps between them and takes the shot for Zabuza. Zabuza, unfazed by the death of Haku, would continue attacking Kakashi until his arms are disabled and Gato's men show up. Meanwhile, Inari begins to rally the villagers to overthrow Gato. Gato plans to kill Zabuza and even defiles the body of Haku by kicking it around. This shows us that Zabuza truly did care for Haku, even if he never admitted it, and would then go on to mercilessly slaughter Gato and his men before dying at their hands. The villagers arrive and drive off what remains of Gato's men. Zabuza is placed beside Haku and laments that he will never see him again. As good of a person as Haku was, Zabuza assumes he will go to heaven, while Zabuza himself will go to hell for being evil. But Kakashi assures the rogue shinobi that they will both go to the same place. Zabuza then dies beside Haku, and the two are honored with a proper burial by Team 7. As they leave, the bridge is named after Naruto, its hero, and they return to the Hidden Leaf. As the team returns home, the Chunin exams are slated to begin. Naruto meets up with Konohamaru and his friends Udon and Moegi, but suddenly they bump into two foreign shinobi, Kankuro and Tamari, both sand ninja from the Land of Wind, who have come to partake in the Chunin exams. Kankuro threatens to kill the children, but is stopped by Sasuke, who throws a rock at him. He then tries to kill Sasuke, but is stopped by Gaara, his brother. They then leave the group alone. Elsewhere, Kakashi, Asuma, and Kurenai all wish to add their students to the Chunin exam roster, much to Iruka's disbelief. As such, he attempts to test Team 7 and is defeated by them all in a one-on-one fight, which satisfies him. They're then presented with forms with which they can apply to join the exams. Naruto and Sasuke are willing, but Sakura is unsure. In the end, they all decide to do so, and then meet up with the other genin who plan to become Chunin. This includes Neji, Tenten, and Rock Lee, the latter of which follows them after to challenge Sasuke to a battle. Naruto, insulted that he didn't get challenged, attempts to attack Lee, but is sent sprawling. Sasuke agrees, and the two fight. Sasuke even activates his Sharingan, but realizes quickly that Lee can't be beaten currently, as he is far faster than Sasuke, and even if Sasuke can see the attacks coming, he can't react to them. Lee almost uses his front lotus on Sasuke, but his Jonin, Might Guy, appears and stops Lee, punching him in the face for his foolish mistake. However, the two make amends, and Lee is sent to do laps as punishment. Team 7 is then reunited with their classmates, consisting of Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara, and Choji Akamichi of Asuma's Team 10, and Shino Aburame, Hinata Hyuga, and Kiba Inuzuka of Kurenai's Team 8. Altogether, these are known as the Rookie 9. They meet Kabuto, who helps them by sharing information he's gathered on the others. He then tells the 9 that they're basically elite genin, and Naruto then stands and declares that he will defeat every one of the other ninja, which irritates them. Kabuto is then attacked by Team Dosu of the Hidden Sound, who attacks him for his comments on their village. Kabuto dodges though, before his glasses then spontaneously shatter and causes him to vomit. Before the confrontation escalates any further, the examiner Ibiki Morino and his team enter to commence the Chunin exams. Everybody would file into what appears to be a classroom as Ibiki begins to explain what the test will be. It's a written test, however there is a hitch. While for most tests, if you cheat and are caught, you fail. Here, if you cheat and are caught, you only lose points from your total score. As the test begins, everyone works their hardest, but these questions are unusually hard. The real test is to cheat without being caught, and nobody in Team 7 seems to realize this except for Sasuke. Sasuke uses his Sharingan, and Sakura is just answering questions correctly as if it's a normal test. Right now, she is the epitome of get good. Naruto has a harder time. Hinata sees him struggling and offers to let him cheat off her, but he refuses, knowing that if he gets caught, not only does his team, but her team will fail. So they continue. Finally, with time up, the final question is revealed. They must take this question to continue on in the Chunin exams. However, if they fail, they will forever be branded as genin who can't ascend and forfeit their right to become Chunin at any other point in the future. Many teams drop out at this point, willing to take the test again next year. Naruto, however, decides to take the answer, as does his team, and merely because they showed the guts to place everything on the line to move forward, they pass. They have gained Ibiki Morino's respect, especially Naruto, who went on to take the question, having not answered a single question on the sheet. Essentially a total failure who knew he would fail yet took the question anyway. He was either incredibly stupid or incredibly gutsy, perhaps a bit of both. After this, we also get a cute episode about Konohamaru and his little squad covering the exams like news anchors. Adorable. We then move on to the Forest of Death. The proctor, Anko, briefs the candidates on their goal for the second portion of the exam. Each team is given one of 2 scrolls, a Heaven Scroll or an Earth Scroll. Once in the forest, they must take the other scroll from an opposing team and reach the tower in the center of the forest with both to continue. After receiving their scroll, each team enters the Forest of Death simultaneously. Barely a few minutes in, Naruto needs a pee break and is immediately impersonated by another genin. However, Sasuke notices this and defeats them. Meanwhile, Naruto gets eaten by a giant snake. I wonder who would do such a thing. Sakura and Sasuke are confronted by Shiore. Unless you didn't know, this is Orochimaru, where they see their own deaths in his eyes. Sasuke attempts to offer their scroll in exchange for their lives, but Naruto stops him and takes the scroll. When Orochimaru uses a snake to attack, Naruto catches it with his initial Jinchuriki form and then looks to Sasuke and asks him the same question Sasuke had. Hey, are you okay, baby? Orochimaru quickly uses the 5-element seal to seal away Naruto's power and then bites Sasuke, branding him with the curse mark of heaven. As they pass out, Sakura saves them and watches over their bodies until they wake up, which takes a long time. Meanwhile, Anko finds 3 bodies that lack faces and she immediately knows who's behind it. Sakura protects Naruto and Sasuke using clever traps as her strong suit is her mind. Later, it's her body as well, so calling her useless is sorta wrong. She's only as useless as Kakashi or anyone else who isn't Naruto and Sasuke. However, Team Dosu begins to search for them, still hoping to kill Sasuke, who Orochimaru had chosen to be his vessel, in hopes that one of them might be counted worthy. Having avoided the traps, they come closer to Sakura, only for Rock Lee to appear out of the blue to save her. He also fights for a time, but his front lotus technique fails and leaves him unconscious. Sakura attempts to attack them, but they grip her by her long hair. In a moment of pure determination, she cuts her own hair in an effort to fight back. At this time, Team 10, consisting of Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara, and Choji Akamichi, inspired by Sakura's determination, attempt to help her out. But suddenly, Sasuke awakens and is fueled by Orochimaru's curse mark. With this new power, he sadistically breaks Zaku's arms and prepares to kill the rest until Sakura stops him. Due to their loss, in an attempt to save their lives, Dosu gives up their scroll and flees. After this, they witness Gaara mercilessly kill a team of Rain Genin. He's about to kill Team 8 too, but his siblings persuade him to forget about them and go to the tower. Gaara's team manages to come out on top and breaks records even. Naruto finally wakes up and realizes that they need another scroll to pass, but given that they don't have the other, he decides it would be best that they forge it. But to do so, they need to open it. Kabuto appears though and warns them not to, saying if they do, they'll be put to sleep. As they move towards the center tower, they encounter Rain Ninja, who use a genjutsu on them. Naruto disguises his clones as his teammates to fool them into thinking they have grown weak, as he had fought them all night. But in reality, the real Sasuke and Sakura are perfectly fine and defeat the ninja. They then make it to the center and open their scroll, only to find Iruka-sensei being summoned to them by it. He informs them that they all pass. After this, it's revealed that too many people have passed the last round, and now they must have an elimination round in which there will be one-on-one matches. First up is Sasuke versus Yoroi. As the match begins, Sasuke realizes he's handicapped. Anytime he tries to use a jutsu, his curse mark begins to take over, and if it does, he's automatically out, so he needs to think of another way to deal with the chakra-absorbing shinobi. He forms a new plan from copying Rock Lee's front lotus and names it the Lion Combo, which he uses to defeat Yoroi. After this, Kakashi takes Sasuke aside and prepares the evil sealing method to seal the curse mark to keep it from activating, which causes Sasuke severe pain as well as loss of consciousness. Shino and Zaku begin their match as well. Kankuro beats Misumi, and Sakura vs Ino ends with a double knockout. After this, it's Temari vs Tenten, but Tenten is defeated. Naruto vs Kiba, and Naruto wins due to farting in Kiba's face. Then comes the battle between Neji and his cousin Hinata. It doesn't end well for Hinata. Neji really doesn't like the main branch of the Hyuga clan due to what they've done to him and his family, and so he uses this as an excuse to do a little damage. Rock Lee and Gaara fight, and despite Lee's strength and near defeat of Gaara, Gaara beats him by breaking a lot of bones with his sand. Lee's career appears to be over due to this. Spoilers, it's not over, but we're to believe it is. Choji fights Dosu, and despite how well he planned, he loses. The matches then end, and everyone is given a month off to train. Naruto reluctantly goes with Ebisu, but when they find a perverted man watching the ladies' bathhouse, Ebisu is knocked out. Naruto manages to impress this pervert with his sexy jutsu, causing him to train Naruto. Jiraiya quickly learns that Naruto is the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, and then realizes why his chakra control is so bad. He correctly guesses that Orochimaru placed a 5-element seal on Naruto and then removes it. He then explains to Naruto about his 2 kinds of chakra and helps to learn him stand on water. That night, having learned that he and his group were nothing more than tools for Orochimaru to test Sasuke, Dosu attempts to assassinate Gaara so he can ruin Orochimaru's plan by killing Sasuke during the finals. However, Gaara ends up killing Dosu instead. This is witnessed by Kabuto and Baki, the Jonin of the Hidden Sand, and they begin to confer on Orochimaru's plan, but are overheard by Hayate, who is then murdered by Baki to hide this secret. Naruto also continues to train with Jiraiya, who is trying to help Naruto summon toads. All Naruto manages to summon is a tadpole. Sakura goes to visit Sasuke in the hospital, but he's off training with Kakashi. Instead, she finds Rock Lee, who, despite his injuries ending his ninja career for good, is still training until the pain causes him to pass out. Jiraiya then believes that Naruto's training is taking too long, so he legit pushes him off a cliff to his death, knowing that Kurama will attempt to protect himself. As Naruto falls, he ends up in his subconscious, where he finds the Nine-Tails who threatens to eat Naruto. After a short exchange, the Nine-Tails decides to give Naruto some of its energy and allows him to summon a large toad known as Gamabunta. Gamabunta is annoyed that he's been summoned in a pit and that a small human is on his head. Naruto tells the toad that he summoned him, but the toad doesn't believe him and instead attempts to shake him off. Naruto almost makes it to sunset while riding the toad's head, but falls off just prior and passes out. While Naruto didn't hold on until sunset, he still managed to ride Gamabunta for quite a while and earns the toad's respect. Gamabunta then takes Naruto to a hospital for rest. And that is the end of the season. Sorta leaves you in the middle of an arc, but that's just how it is. I hope you enjoyed this quick review of the first Naruto season. I honestly had fun, and I hope you did too. If you liked this video, then click that thumbs up for us. Feel free to comment as well and tell us what your favorite moments were from the series. We'd love to hear from you. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to be notified about new content like this. Peace.